We good, Sandy?
It's just connecting to YouTube, so.
In the upper left-hand corner, it says live on YouTube. Does it say something different on your screen, Sandy?
Yeah, it says live for me too.
This
Me
screen
too.
is spinning on YouTube, so I'm just giving it a minute.
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened. I clicked the wrong button.
We still have you, Linda.
We still got you.
we're still here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we are on live streaming, so go ahead.
Okay, call to order today's Civil Service Commission meeting, April 29, 2020. Present are Thomas McNaughton, Linda Jackson-Chalmers, and Michael Cassidy, commissioners. Representing the City of Albany Law Department, Peachy Jones. Representing the City of Albany Human Resources, Sandra.
We still got you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we are on live.
Are we okay?
Yep.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Have the commissioners had a chance to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
Yes. Move to approve.
Approve.
Okay, passed and carried. 3, report of examinations announced. An open competitive examination for mapping technologist, 62-381, to be held Saturday, May 16th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Monday, May 4th, 2020. Open competitive examination for Geographic Information System Specialist, 61-444, I'm sorry, 433. That's 61-433 is to be held Saturday, May 16th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Monday, May 4th, 2020. An open competitive examination for Superintendent of Water Metering, 62-528, to be held Saturday, May 16th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Monday, May 4th, 2020. A promotional examination for Police Sergeant, 73-592, to be held on Saturday, June 13th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Thursday, May 28th, 2020. A promotional examination for Fire Lieutenant, 73-515, to be held on Saturday, June 27th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Thursday, May 28th, 2020. An open competitive examination for Engineering Project Manager, 62-133, to be held Saturday, June 27th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Thursday, May 28th, 2020. An open competitive examination for Landfill Superintendent, 62-349, to be held Saturday, June 27th, 2020. The last day for filing an application is Thursday, May 28th, 2020.
Information on the exams for May 16th. And just an update for the exams that were scheduled for April 25th. We have postponed in line with the state civil service that postponed their April 25th and their May 16th exams. So the candidates can apply until the last filing date, but they will be notified that the exams will be postponed, and then they'll be notified when they're rescheduled.
Is the filing date held? So there'll be no acceptance of any filing or any applications after the originally stated end date for filing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Report of appointments to the competitive, non-competitive, exempt, and labor class. The Civil Service Office reported on the following permanent competitive class appointments. Marquesinis, Library Assistant, Albany Public Library, 3/15/2020. Constance Gehern, Library Assistant, Albany Public Library, 3/15/2020. The Civil Service Office reported on the following permanent promotion competitive class appointments. All with the Albany Fire Department, all on 4/15/2020. Eric Johnson, Fire Captain. Patrick Trapani, Fire Captain. Gary Flynn, Fire Lieutenant. Christopher Abriel, Fire Lieutenant. The Civil Service Office reported on the following non-competitive class appointments. Dwayne Lewis, Building Maintenance Worker, Albany Public Library, 2/16/2020. David Clary, Laborer 3, Water and Water Supply, 4/23/2020. Anthony DeCenzo, Equipment Operator 1, Water and Water Supply, 4/23/2020. Thomas Romand, Water Maintenance Repair Worker, Water and Water Supply, 4/23/2020. Frederick Otieno, Equipment Operator 2, Water and Water Supply, 4/24/2020. The next three, all with DGS, all on 4/30/2020. Kim Williams, Sanitation Worker. Nakir White, Sanitation Worker, and Douglas Clark, Laborer 2. Civil Service Office reported on the following labor class appointments. Winston Lamondine, Custodial Worker, Albany Public Library, 2/16/2020. Jessica Summers, Water Treatment Plant Attendant, Water and Water Supply, 5/4/2020. The Civil Service Office reported on the following competitive class transfers. John Larrabee, Police Officer, Albany PD, 4/20/2020. Yes.
The agenda includes establishment of list, which was after the exam announcements.
Okay. Bear with me. I'm reading off the.
I don't have that.
I don't have that either, Sandy. In the most recent attachment that you sent at 1 o'clock, that was an addendum to yesterday's, goes right into amendment of job specifications.
I have it on my document.
You do?
Mhm.
Roman numeral 4?
Yeah,
Oh, above it. Yeah, no, it's above it. Yep, I got it.
Okay. Report of
Establishment of lists.
establishment of lists. Yes. So let's proceed to that. My apologies.
that's okay.
So at a meeting of Civil Service Commission held on April 29th, following resolution was adopted. Position of clerk 2. The list contains 4 candidates. Since I have the candidate list. Do we have to read the resolutions, Sandy?
Can't hear you,
Sandy,
Sandy.
you're muted.
I have them listed on the agenda with the title, the exam date, and the establishment date, and how many candidates.
Do you want me to read them into the record then?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do this one over again. Let's try it again. On At a meeting of Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29, 2020, the following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of clerk 2 was held on the 19th day of October, now therefore be it resolved, eligible list consisting of 4 names for the position of clerk 2 has been established April 29, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28, 2021. I don't have to read the names, do I, Sandy?
No.
Okay. At the meeting of the Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29, 2020, following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Public Service Officer Supervisor was held on the 19th day of October, 2019. Now, therefore, be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 3 names for the position of Public Service Officer Supervisor was hereby established on April 29, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28, 2021. 3 eligible candidates. At the meeting of Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29, 2020, following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Compliance Coordinator was held on the 28th day of September 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 2 names for the position Compliance Coordinator was hereby established on April 29th, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28th, 2021. 2 eligible candidates. At the meeting of the Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29th, 2020, the following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Youth Aide at Risk was held on the 19th day of October 2019, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 2 names for the position Youth Aide at Risk was hereby established on April 29th, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28th, 2021. 2 eligible candidates. At the meeting of the Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29th, 2020, following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Case Manager was held on the 19th day of October 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 2 names for the position Case Manager was hereby established on April 29th, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28th, 2021. 2 eligible candidates. At the meeting of the Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29th, 2020, following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Public Service Officer was held on the 19th day of October 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 5 names for the position Public Service Officer was hereby established on April 29th, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28th, 2021. 5 eligible candidates. At the meeting of the Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29th, 2020, following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Environmental Specialist was held on the 19th day of October 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 1 name for the position Environmental Specialist was hereby established on April 29th, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28th, 2021. 1 eligible candidate. At the meeting of the Municipal Civil Service Commission held on April 29th, 2020, following resolution was adopted. Whereas an examination for the position of Traffic Safety Aide was held on the 19th day of October 2019, now therefore be it resolved that an eligible list consisting of 1 name for the position Traffic Safety Aide was hereby established on April 29th, 2020 for 1 year or until April 28th, 2021. 1 eligible candidate. Next, we go to amendment of job specifications. Police Cadet Did we push this off? What was the cause, or what was our request?
It was tabled due to the citizenship language in the last month's. So PG has worked with the police department and myself, and we've come up. So these are the revisions that were presented last month, along with new language down in the special requirements where we took out must be a US citizen, and added another requirement of that they have to apply and take any available police officer or City of Albany police officer exam during their employment as a cadet. PG can also speak on some changes that she worked with the police department on.
I was mainly looking at the citizenship and age requirements, like what we can legally restrict applicants to, which is why the age range is slightly larger than it was originally, and we've taken out the requirement for citizenship. We just can't limit it to citizens. And then the police department has
Why not?
because we can't. So only police officers, so police officers and firefighters are required to be citizens under the law. But if we didn't have that statutory requirement, we couldn't restrict them to citizens either. So because police aren't in that category, there's no statutory reason to restrict it, and it would be citizenship discrimination.
Okay. The other question I think I had last month is, can somebody who is a police cadet take the police exam in a promotional capacity?
They do that in New York City. The police department may consider doing that because they've been looking a lot at New York City's cadet program, but as of right now, no, in the City of Albany.
This is something that I'm going to talk with the police department about, but also I'll be contacting New York State Civil Service because a lot of the New York City Civil Service is different from what is done in other parts of the state.
Right, but they had something similar to this in Buffalo as well. Years and years ago, there was a police cadet program in Buffalo where you merely had to pass the civil service test, and you would leapfrog anybody that took the civil service test for police, no matter what their score was. You'd go to the top of the list in a promotional capacity.
Yeah, so what we, right now, this position is classified as competitive. So what we could do essentially, and Peachy, I would work with her on this along with State Civil Service, but if we were to move this into the non-competitive class, at least what we do with other non-competitive positions is we can offer non-competitive people promotional exams into competitive titles, but we also have to hold an open competitive test at the same time. So what would happen is if they were allowed to take a promotional test, we would have to certify the promotional list first, which then would give all those candidates the eligibility to be appointed in preference before we go to the open competitive of those people who are not cadets at that time.
So it's possible, it's something that the city is looking into, but as of right now, there's no promotional opportunity for cadets to be police officers.
Okay. What's the time frame on this?
They're looking to start this program this summer as we've received grant money to have this program. So we're trying to get the job description finalized so that it can be posted and they can start accepting applications. But we will be working on the classification as they're holding this, because we are still actually going back to the exams being postponed. We are actually also looking at what the future of our exams are going to look like, because who knows if we'll be able to hold a police officer exam with 600 candidates in one location. So we're going to have to start looking at different ways and seeing what comes down from New York State Civil Service as far as the exams as well.
Okay. And what was just curious, what was the reasoning behind expanding the age range from 21 to 32?
Similar idea. We can only restrict it so far as state statute allows. So there's a maximum age that police officers can come into the service. And because this is a preparatory program for that, we restricted the age to match or parallel those restrictions.
So my only concern, Peachy, is some of the language is somewhat broad under, you know, like full performance knowledge, skills, abilities, and personal characteristics, good social and general intelligence. I mean, good in general are pretty broad. Your idea of good in mind could be different. Physical strength and agility, are there going to be some parameters that go along with that?
So it's my understanding that the police department wanted it broad because while the cadet program is meant to be kind of a introduction to being a police officer and seeing if people are interested in that career path, they're not police officers and they're not held to the same standards. And so it's meant to be a little more flexible so that individuals who are not quite to the point of becoming police officers can still gain that introduction and work towards the higher standards we require of police.
Okay, and then with regards to residency, what are the parameters there?
The same that any other City of Albany employee would have. The residency for police officers, same idea. It's for police officers, that's in state statute, so the cadets wouldn't qualify for that wider residency provision. So they'd need to have the same residency as all other city employees, which is within the city.
So there is no there's no ability for somebody who lives in the county to qualify for this.
Correct. Well, they can move.
Well, I mean, unlike the police side, the police fire that allows for that, this will not.
Yep. I mean, same idea. Like, they're not police officers yet, so they're not afforded the other benefits, I guess, that police officers have.
Okay. I would.
I'd also say that one part of the program is to try and get more City of Albany residents interested in the police program. This is more of an inner city environment than some of our surrounding communities in the county. And so they do want individuals who have roots here, are familiar with Albany, to have an interest in and be exposed to the police department. So that is part of actually the benefit of this program, is they want city residents to be introduced to the police department.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mike, Linda, any questions?
No. Move to adopt.
Seconded. Passed and carried. When would you like us to sign these, Sandy, or is this in lieu of signatures?
The resolutions for the list establishments,
Yeah.
I think we can just hold them and then when we meet again, we can have them signed. Would that work, Peachy, or do we?
Oops. I'll have to think about that. I was thinking maybe we could do an electronic signature.
Okay.
How 21st century of us. Wow. Zoom and East.
Right.
Who are you
Kick
guys?
off my wooden shoes and come down there.
Yeah, really.
Okay. The next is the maintenance manager. Sandy, you want to walk us through the changes here?
Yep, so this was, as you can see, adopted in January. That is when we were classifying the majority of the parking authority's jobs. And the qualifications were kind of looked at and written with in mind the current incumbents that were in those positions for up to like 20 years or so. So we were looking at making sure that they were all meeting the qualifications. That person has since left the position, and this position was posted with the qualifications as they were written, and there were no qualified candidates. So I sent it back to the parking authority, and told them that they may want to broaden or open up the qualifications, and this is what they have proposed to be adopted. So they've taken out the education requirement and just left high school, and they've brought down the years of experience and broadened it to be maintenance management experience and not have to be in a parking facility.
Okay. I'll move to adopt.
I approve.
I agree. Passed and carried. Senior Planning Project Manager, Sandy?
So I think the major changes are adding more typical work activities to make it more descriptive of what the position is. This is a new position that was created in the 2020 budget for the planning department to work on planning projects throughout the city. And the majority of the projects, I believe, are transportation based. So they have added quite a few typical work activities to make it more descriptive. And then the majority of the knowledge, skills, and abilities pieces that were added has to do with DOT knowledge, permitting, and adding the engineering knowledge and skills.
Okay. Linda, Mike?
I approve.
Approve.
Agreed, passed and carried.
PG, how do you how should we handle the DQs for police?
You're muted.
Yes, I am. I was laughing to myself. That is a very good question.
Should we, never mind.
Can we just refer to, say, candidate A and candidate B?
That's what I was.
As
Pursuant to the civil service law,
I think that's the best we can do.
right?
And then, yeah, I mean, eventually, don't we mention, well, do we normally mention their names when we vote outside of executive session? No?
I don't
I don't think
believe
we
so.
ever usually go into executive. Well, I mean, we,
When we're discussing the,
yes.
But I don't think this requires any executive session action.
So if we don't mention their names, we wouldn't have to go into executive session. We're just placing them, we're just disqualifying them, and then we'll offer them the appeal per section 50.
then let's just use the, refer to them by numbers.
Okay. Well, I have no number corresponding to their names, so that will be hard, PG.
So, but, yeah,
How about we just go with the candidates?
but we should be looking at the same agenda information. So looking at their first name, well, why don't we use the letter of their first name then? So H and K.
That's fine. Okay. With regards to police candidate H, candidate is disqualified pursuant to civil service law 58 subsection 1 subsection D, rule number 9. I would make the motion that we disqualify this candidate accordingly.
I approve.
Approve.
Passed and carried. With regards to police candidate K, this candidate is disqualified pursuant to civil service law 50, subsection 4, subsection G, and 50, subsection 4, subsection 3. And I would make the motion that we disqualify this candidate accordingly.
I agree.
Agree. Approve.
Passed and carried. Sandy, please communicate to those candidates their rights to appeal under the law.
Okay.
Is there any other old business?
Nope.
Any new business? I would make the recommendation we adjourn. Make the motion. to adjourn.
Approved.
Next
Approved.
meeting, Sandy?
Is Wednesday, May 27th.
All right.
Okay. Is that a problem for anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
Mike, will you be able to be in your living room next May 27th?
I have no plans currently.